So hello there, this is video games and such, and I'm playing Sonic Mania. In this case we're playing on the Nintendo Switch. It's about 2:30 AM, so my housemates are all asleep, so hopefully I won't wake them up. And I just got this game yesterday after being far apart from my Nintendo Switch for quite some time. I've been playing it a bit. I did play it at a friend's house before I played it on my own Switch. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's a great game. It's basically the Sonic sequel that the world's been waiting for since about 1995. Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Well, I didn't really want to mention that, but yeah, it's not a very good game at all. And that's being generous. So here, I thought this time around I would play as Knuckles. I did start playing as Sonic yesterday, but thought I'd just try Knuckles out, see how it's a bit different. And again, this is the first Let's Play that I've ever done in my entire life, so I do apologise if it's not that entertaining, but let's see what happens here. So, this game, the graphics are just, the sound is fantastic, it's just the whole package really. The main issue that I've had with the game so far, what I played, is the boss from the Flying Battery Zone, the spider. I really don't like that boss. It's just... if you played it, you probably know what I'm talking about. I just lost my flame shield there. How delightful. And I've lost my rings. Lovely. This is definitely my favourite shield, the lightning shield. It's a combination of just being able to attract rings. I just think that's really cool. And of course, when you're playing as Sonic, you can do like a double jump type dealie, and that I think is awesome as well. When you're playing as Knuckles, obviously he doesn't have that ability, but obviously he can glide and climb walls, which has its own advantages. So, let's see how we do in the bonus stage here. These are pretty hard. They're ripped right out of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, obviously. Some of them are new, some of them are old, or some of them are like based on old ones, but they're not exactly the same. This one in particular, I honestly can't remember if this is new or old, but I do very much enjoy these games, these mini games. They're pretty difficult, but if you get a bit of practice in, I mean, I've been playing this for, I don't know, a long time, a very long time, probably maybe close to 20 years was the first time. 20 years ago, first time I played this. Well, when I say this, I mean these bonus stages. I basically was playing on an emulator when I was a kid, and I had to figure it all out for myself, figure out that you had to run around them in a circle to turn them red and turn them into rings. Like, I just didn't know. It was back in the early days of the internet, with the Genesis emulator. Those were some great times. I played a lot of emulators, but luckily I've been able to buy a lot of the older consoles over the years and play them the real thing. And we're back. We got the gold medallion thing, which is pretty cool. Often I'll just pass up any shield once I've got the lightning shield. Depending on the level, if it's a water level, obviously the bubble shield's good, and if it's a place with a lot of things that have fire, it's good to have the fire shield so you're immune to it. But yeah, as I said, definitely my favourite shield, which I've now lost. Goodbye shield. I got really lucky there. I could have easily gotten injured there. I need to remember that I can glide if I get like into tricky situations. There's just those extra frames of animation just make it awesome. Like when you turn around when you're gliding, I just think that looks really cool. Hey look, a thingy. I think that's the first one, if I'm not mistaken. But honestly, I haven't played a great deal of this game, and I haven't found I haven't even finished it, I haven't found all the gotten all the Chaos Emeralds yet, and I haven't found all the secret big gigantic rings that take you to this stage. Now, the first one of this one is not that hard, but they do actually get quite a bit harder afterwards. The first time I saw this stage, I was like, and this stage, I mean these bonus stages in general, I thought, it looks easy, but they're actually pretty hard, the ones I've played. Aside from this one's pretty easy. You just gotta get the blue balls, as they say, and the rings give you more time, the blue balls make you speed up, and all you really have to do is catch up with the UFO thingy. If you've ever played Sonic CD, it's kind of inspired by that. I wasn't a massive fan of Sonic CD. It's not a bad game, but it's kind of like the odd one out from the Mega Drive Genesis Sonic games. It just doesn't quite feel right. I do sometimes get a bit, I don't know how to describe it. I don't like certain things, like for example, I don't like the jump sound in Sonic CD. I don't like that sound. It might sound really silly, but I just don't. And look, here's another bonus stage. Getting those blue spheres as instructed, and the rings. The fatal mistake I've been making with these levels is I've been trying to get all the rings every single time at all costs, which basically means that I'll often fail the level because if I had just gone to finish the level to get the silver medallion, I'd probably be okay, but because I'm trying to be a completionist and get all the rings, it'll get really fast and you make a mistake or you're under pressure and you just kind of break under the pressure basically, because it's pretty damn hard, like I said. And then the other thing that makes it hard is sometimes you just kind of either get lost or you can't find the next batch of blue spheres, or you can't find the rings or whatever else. Look at that. Those bouncy star ones. It's getting fast. I mean, I'm used to playing a game maybe with a friend around and talking in that case, but I'm not used to just playing, sitting on my own, talking to a microphone. So please excuse me if it's not really entertaining, but hopefully my talking isn't annoying enough, and you can enjoy just watching this. Now, what I've done is I've foolishly I've missed. Yeah, there you go. So I missed a couple of those blue spheres, and it would have been really hard to get back to them. I would have had to jump over the red ones. So when I was playing as Sonic, I lost a whole bunch of lives on. Well, first of all, the spider boss that I really don't like. I lost some lives in that. Lost a bunch of lives in Hydro City Zone as well. And had game over. I was a bit embarrassed. Not that there's any shame in having game over, but when you're a pretty massive Sonic fan, you are pretty good at Sonic. You like to kind of beat the whole game without getting game over. We'll see how I go as Knuckles this time. I do try and get 100 rings so that I can get enough lives, a stockpile of lives, but I don't know, it's just... there's my shield. Pretty tricky game. I really do like most of the bosses. Really the spider one's the only one that I'm not a fan of that I've played so far, because I haven't finished the game yet. Awesome. Lightning shield. But yeah, the bosses are really cool. A lot of variety, a lot of creativity. It's amazing how, even though the Sonic games, the Mega Drive ones, are fairly old, it's amazing how they do manage to kind of find a new formula to get in there, or like a new twist on an old formula otherwise. For example, I did like, there was one of the bosses in the Hydro City zone where, I think it was Act 2. The first part was like an underwater side-scrolling bit, where you were kind of being pushed along. What am I doing here? You were being pushed along by the current, and you had to push these buttons which would explode onto Robotnik or something. And then that led into the original boss from Hydro City on the Mega Drive, Sonic 3, which is, I thought was a cool bit of old, a bit of new. So that was really cool. And look, here we got another bonus stage. Let's see if I can do okay in this one. Getting them blue spheres. The tricky part with these is, especially if you're trying to get all the rings, you do kind of sometimes have to leave some of these blue spheres alone, because the last thing you want to do is get up to the last ring of, or rather cluster of blue spheres that are going to turn into rings, and then you end the level without being able to get all the rings. So that's one of the tricky things. But the other problem is that some of the levels like this are somewhat linear, in the sense that you kind of have to go in a pathway. Otherwise it's difficult to kind of go back and get the blue spheres. So, whoa. That was interesting. Might be able to beat this one. You can imagine if you're a motion sickness kind of person. Whoops. There you go. If you're the type of person who gets motion sickness, I can imagine those levels can be quite sickening. But luckily I don't really have a problem with them. Flame shield. I do like how there we go. Lost all my rings. I do like how the flame shield is sitting there behind the waterfall. It's quite ironic. Ooh, nice. Ooh, did not know about that, but obviously this is my first time playing through as Knuckles, so I wouldn't know, would I? But I'm glad that I found that. That was pretty cool. From what I gather, like with Sonic, the higher paths are usually more rewarding, but I don't know, there's lots of different ways to go. And I usually just kind of play and just kind of see where it takes me. I don't necessarily have a particular way of going. That being said, once I know that, I'm talking specifically about when I haven't played it before. Once I get to know this game a bit better, I'll probably, be more inclined to take a particular route. But in this case, just going wherever to go with the flow, so to speak. And yet another bonus stage. I guess that's what makes this one different from Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles, where you had to get the massive rings for these stages, whereas in this case they are in the sparklies above the goal posts, or rather the checkpoint post thingies. This one, whoops, damn, this one is very much reminiscent of one of the levels from Sonic 3 or Sonic & Knuckles, one of them, and by this I mean that level that I just fell out of because I failed. And there I go, lost my flame shield, lost my ring. It's a nice little swimming pool area. Luckily I've got enough rings to get back into that stage. It does kind of feel like I end up in these stages really often. Okay, I need to be careful with this one, because if I recall correctly, there's only 2 of those sets of blue spheres, so I'm just going to ignore... What am I doing? Oh man, it just shows, like, if you're not used to just talking into a microphone and playing a game, just how you can struggle and how you can fail when you might otherwise do okay. Now this, of course, if you're familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog games, is, well, it's not the exact boss, but it looks pretty much the same as the final boss from Sonic 2. So when I first played this at my friend's house a month or two ago, I was pleasantly surprised and I thought it was a cool idea. And I mean, it's a lot easier when you get onto the higher ground too. And I got it. Fall off there. Yeah. Being Act 2, you've got your remix of the original themes music. I do like how you get kind of the generally original music, more or less, with a few flourishes for Act 1, and then for Act 2 you get the remix. I think that's quite cool. Just basically every aspect of this game that I've experienced so far, aside from that Snyder boss, is so good. It's just a beautiful game. I know that some people are into the modern graphics and modern games and whatnot, but definitely as having grown up with this sort of thing, I really do think that the aesthetic was done really perfectly. Like, it's been described by someone or other, maybe one of the developers or someone, as kind of like if it was made for the Sega Saturn. So, say, instead of Sonic Extreme, which never actually came out, and instead of, or maybe as well as Sonic 3D Blast, aka Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. If we got this on the Saturn, maybe this is vaguely what it would look like. Just slightly better than Mega Drive graphics. I think it's really, really well done. Now I'm trying to think of things to say. Good times. I'll just bounce around a bit. But Chemical Plant, I mean, come on. You can't go wrong with the Chemical Plant zone. First of all, the music is phenomenal. I mean, obviously Green Hill has a classic theme that can't be beaten, but this just... I don't know, when I was a kid I used to love this music, and obviously I still do. I'm not going to be able to get back up there. Cheeky, they walled it off. Certain things you just get one chance, and if you miss it, you just can't go back unless you die or you restart or whatever. Oh, speaking of which, I do like to take every opportunity I can for this day. Okay, so this one. This one's really hard. I haven't beaten it yet, but that's mostly because I've been trying to get all the rings every time. And, oh man, this is nerve-wracking stuff. This is the kind of thing where if you crack under the pressure, you're just done straight away. But I just cannot resist trying to get all the rings. Like, I don't know, I'm a sucker for rings. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, especially once it starts speeding up, it just gets really hard. So maybe I should be going for the silver medallions instead, but again, I just can't help myself. Oh, you gotta be really careful in those bits because you can easily get crushed. Sometimes there are certain bits where you get crushed. There you go. Speak of the devil. That wasn't exactly the circumstance I was thinking of. I was thinking of where you kind of get stuck between two on top of each other. That checkpoint is a really good spot, isn't it? So those two there, you might get stuck between those two. That being said though, because Knuckles can't jump as high as Sonic, I think I've kind of been saved by Knuckles' lower jumps in this case. There's a perfect opportunity to use a glide. That's cool. Obviously, if you're familiar with the Sonic the Hedgehog games, the original ones, you may be aware that if you had a Sonic & Knuckles cartridge and a Sonic 2 cartridge, that you could plug Sonic 2 cartridge into the Sonic & Knuckles cartridge, and you could play as Knuckles in Sonic 2, which back in the day was pretty incredible. First time I tried it was probably on an emulator, but first time I tried it on the real console, I was like, wow, that's so cool. And then obviously, if you plug your Sonic 3 into Sonic & Knuckles, you get Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is two games combined. They're basically, the full game of Sonic 3 as it was originally intended, because it was kind of split off into 2 games. So here's that boss. Ah yes, this is the one that goes into the water. Lots of bouncing bosses. Hit the boss even when I know that I'll probably lose my rings, but the thing is, when I don't have that many rings to lose, it's not as big of a deal, so it's kind of like even more tempting. The more rings I have, the more careful I'll be, and more delicately I'll tread. But again, that can lead to its own issues, because if you're trying to be careful, you can sometimes even be more likely to make a mistake because you're stressed out and you crack under the pressure and whatnot. Yeah, one of my favorite things is trying to hit the spinning thing at the end and try and get items and manage to get one there, which is pretty cool. The original shield. I do kind of wish, like again, it's one of those things where it's just an aesthetic personal preference. I do kind of wish that the Sonic 2 style shield was there as opposed to the Sonic 1 style, but look, who knows, there might be when you beat the game or when you unlock something, you can probably unlock the Sonic 2 shield. Wouldn't surprise me. Again, because I never finished this game, I just don't know what exactly unlockables there are. I know that there are quite a number of unlockables. I've already gotten some of them, but there's definitely a lot to this game. This game does have a whole lot of replayability, and I don't know. I really do like how they've put the new spins on the old. Ooh, speaking of which, there's an enemy that was originally in Sonic 3 from Angel Island Zone, and it's really well placed. Like this zone makes a lot of sense for it. I mean, it kind of fits in with those guys right there. It's I don't know, it's really well done. And basically, I mean, obviously, again, I do apologize if I'm just telling you things that you already know, dear viewer. But I need to talk about something while I play this. Again, this game, as opposed to being really developed by Sonic Team, it was developed by effectively a bunch of guys who were and are Sonic fans. Christian Whitehead, and I honestly can't remember the names of any of the others. Sorry, fellas and ladies. But it really does seem like, you know, the fans know Sonic better than Sonic Team do. And it's really, like, I'm really happy and I'm really glad that Sega, or whatever you want to call them, that they gave them the chance to develop this game, to put it together, because effectively it really is an official Sonic fan game, which is really awesome. And in this case, with going back to the new spin on an old formula, I really do like how they've kind of taken the chemical plant theme and they've added the kind of slimy stuff, or the goop, or whatever it is, and injecting extra chemicals into it to make it bouncier. It's just very clever. There are lots of things in this game where you just sit back and you think, wow, they really put a lot of thought into this. And if you were paying attention, you might have noticed that I picked up a blue ring thingy. And what that blue ring thingy does is when you lose your rings, once you've gotten that thing, they come out as quite large, gigantic rings, and it makes it easier to get all or most of your rings back. And each of the large rings is worth a number of rings. It's pretty cool. It's a cool idea. It's not something I would have thought of. Alright, so once again, back in one of these stages. And gonna get some spheres that are blue, some rings. Hopefully not fail, but who knows. Let's see how we go. And wow. This is a cool one. Tricky, but very Interesting, indeed. And going back to plugging your plugging into Sonic and Knuckles. If you plugged Sonic 1 into Sonic and Knuckles, then you could get basically an almost infinite number of these stages, which is also pretty cool. It's not really something that I did or played with much, but oh shit. Oh! Damn, son. That was brutal. So, back into chemical plant zone. I want to see if I can get that. Yep, I can. Alright. 99 rings. Oh, whoops. And there's my life. And there's my Knuckles section. Sonic can't get to, I assume. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it involves climbing, Sonic's not going to be able to do it at all. So there's the wormy guy. So the key with these wormy guys is you got to hit them right in the head. And avoid those whatchamacallits, whatever that stuff coming out of it is. So yesterday I brought my Nintendo Switch over to a friend's place, and I was showing him this game, and he just was enjoying watching me play it because it's just fun to watch, you know, like when you're going around loop-the-loops or when you're going it's just entertaining, at least in my opinion. Some people probably find this very boring. And if you do and you're watching this, then I'm impressed. I think that is dangerous. Looks like it's boiling. And sometimes you kind of don't know whether you're going the right way or not. And now I'm thinking I need to go in there. Let's see. No. No, it doesn't bounce. Alright. Gotta do something. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bit stumped at the moment, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I've already injected. Oh, hang on, this one's green. Ah, okay. I did not see that. I was lucky that I caught that and didn't kind of fumble about for a billion years. Alright. Here's some fast-paced action, and here's another bonus stage. Gonna get some spheres that are blue. This one's kind of nighttime, pretty cool. And bouncing off things. Alright. This one's very much it throws you right into the moment every time you go on a bouncy thingy. Which is kind of cool. Why not? What's over here? Okay. Save them for later. Ah, I see, okay. For some reason I thought that cluster of spheres was a one that you could turn into rings, but obviously not. I think I missed one. Okay, I missed one. Oh well, I never had a chance. Yeah, just shows how difficult those stages are. Like, I'm sure some people watching will say, I can do that easily. And look, maybe you can, but they're pretty hard, honestly. Gotta try it out before you can pass judgment. Yes, and this is a really cool, pleasant surprise of a boss. If you ever played the old Mega Drive or Genesis, there was a game called Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and there was also another game on Super Nintendo called Kirby's Avalanche, also known as Kirby's Ghost. Combos. Here we go. still probably... Oh no, maybe not. That was too good. Had a yellow one there. Alright, maybe this will do it. Setting up a combo, but apparently... But this should do the trick. Right, the button fairly well. Yeah, that's just... When I first encountered this one, I was like, wow, did not see that coming at all. But I'm sure, like, maybe if you haven't played it before, you might struggle with that boss. But I personally had no trouble with it, obviously. Decent number of rings, 169. Possibly the most rings I've had from beating a level on this so far. I've certainly had more rings than that. I remember having 200 or 300 in a level, but I definitely lost them by the end of the level. So this is the first level that isn't actually based on a game, a level from an older Sonic game, Studiopolis. Now I've been recording for about half an hour now, so maybe I should stop. My first video was over half an hour as well. I think I might stop now. So this has been Sonic Mania. I don't know if I'll even upload this to YouTube. I might watch it back and say, oh, gross, or cringe at my voice. But yeah, thanks for watching if I did upload it. And if I did upload this, then I'll probably do more of this game, but we shall see. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, once again, feel free to click like, and feel free to comment. And if you want to see more of this kind of thing, then you can subscribe as well. Thank you again.